What happens when a man with a dangerous past and a heart too big for the life he fled dares to give everything, body, soul, and love, to another man? Omari wasn't just carrying secrets. He was carrying a love so raw, so real, that it couldn't be hidden any longer. Not from Adebayo, not from the world. But love isn't always a safe harbor. Sometimes it's the storm that draws the enemies closer. Now, as the whispers from Ayoru grow louder and danger stalks their every breath, Omari and Adebayo must fight not just for their love, but for their very lives. Will love be enough to withstand the past catching up? Welcome to today's episode. If you love bold tales, stolen kisses, and secrets that burn beneath the surface, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and turn on the bell so you never miss the heat. Let's dive into today's juicy episode. The market was alive with its usual chaos, laughter bouncing off clay walls, cassava leaves rustling under baskets, a group of young girls giggling over bracelets made of cowrie shells. But Omari stood still. His breath caught as he spotted a man leaning casually by the palm wine stand, tall, dark-skinned, his frame wrapped in blue and silver. Those were not village colors, they were Ayoru colors. And the man wasn't shopping. He wasn't greeting anyone, he was watching. Omari didn't wait to be sure. His instincts, honed from years of running, were already screaming. He turned and disappeared between a row of calabash stalls and didn't stop until he reached the woods. It was late when Adebayo found him again, by the riverbank, sitting in the grass, wet from sweat and fear, not the water. The river whispered behind them, slow and soft, as if it too knew what was about to be said. Omari didn't look at Adebayo at first. His hands were pressed to the earth, fingers stained with soil, chest rising and falling like he was breathing through a storm no one could see. And when he finally spoke, his voice was low, measured, like every word carried weight. His name was Malik. Omari began. He stared ahead, into the darkness beyond the water. We met in Ayoru. His uncle was a war chief, the kind of man who made men disappear with a glance. A pause, a shift in his jaw. I worked for him. Did things I won't say out loud, things that paid well, things that kept me alive. Adebayo didn't interrupt. He barely breathed. Malik. He wasn't supposed to see me, but he did. And somehow Omari exhaled sharply. We got stupid. We planned to leave. He gave me a map. I took silver. We were going to vanish under the stars. Omari's voice broke slightly. Just once. They found out. He didn't make it. Silence pressed in. I ran. I kept running, till I found this place. Only now did Omari turn to Adebayo, not with fear, but with a kind of quiet surrender. I didn't lie to you. I just didn't want to bring all that into something good, something that made me feel clean again. Adebayo's chest rose, then fell. He didn't reach for words right away. He didn't need to. Instead, he leaned in and pressed his forehead gently to Omari's, just like he had that first night in the shed. You're not the same man, he whispered, and I'm not leaving. And with that, he reached for Omari's hand, not as a promise, as proof. Chief Jabari had always been a patient man. He'd seen too many sons go wild and come back wiser, seen too many secrets reveal themselves with time, like roots rising after heavy rains. But something about Adebayo's recent behavior tugged at him. The boy came home late, whispered under his breath, smiled at things unsaid, and always his feet were muddy. Jabari said nothing for days. He simply watched, until one night, As the fire cracked low and most of the compound had gone quiet, he sent for his son. Adebayo entered with a slow step, shoulders steady but eyes careful. He could already sense this wasn't just about the mud. Jabari didn't start with questions. He gestured for Adebayo to sit beside him. "You're not a boy anymore," Jabari said, looking into the fire, "and I won't treat you like one." Adebayo nodded, still quiet. "I know about Omari." Adebayo's heart jolted, but Jabari raised a hand gently, as if to calm water before it spilled. "I knew the day you came home with light in your eyes," he said. "The kind of light I've only seen in men who've found someone worth protecting. What I don't know is whether this man deserves that light." Silence stretched between them. "He's not perfect," Adebayo finally said. "He's done things, survived things, but he's not hiding from love. Not from me." Jabari looked at his son, and then nodded, slow and sure. "Then let the village talk," he said. "Let them wonder. A father's only job is to know when to fight beside his son, or in front of him." Adebayo's throat tightened. "Thank you," he whispered. Jabari's voice was calm. "Just promise me that you will never lie to yourself. Not even for love. That's how men break." Adebayo nodded again, and for the first time in days the weight in his chest loosened. By morning, the village was humming with things unsaid. Not loudly, not yet, but in the way eyes lingered too long. In the way people paused their pounding yam when Omari passed, then resumed with sharper strikes. People noticed, because the village always notices, even when it pretends not to. And now, they were watching. Even Elder Mudiwa, whose mouth hadn't closed since 1962, was suddenly speaking in proverbs. When a goat walks calmly into a lion's den, he said, maybe the goat is not just a goat. Later, Omari took to the forest again, not to hide, but to breathe. He knew what was coming. The silence, the suspicion, that's how it always began. But what caught him off guard, truly startled him, was when 3 young warriors rode past him on horseback, their uniforms unfamiliar. Foreign, they didn't stop, but they looked. One of them lingered with a stare that stretched too long, too knowing. Omari's pulse skipped. He waited until they vanished down the dusty road, then turned and walked faster, slipping behind trees, his mind racing. But he was thinking about it. Again, night had fully fallen when Chief Jabari called his son, not with thunder, not with anger, just a name carried softly across the yard, the way only a father who already knew something would say it. Adebayo. Adebayo turned from where he sat by the steps, drying his feet. He knew this moment was coming. His breath steadied. Inside the main hut was warm. Jabari sat with his staff beside him. He didn't ask if Adebayo was seeing Omari. He didn't need to. "You come home late," he said calmly. "Your legs carry the river's scent. Your eyes, something else." Adebayo swallowed. "I didn't mean to hide anything." Jabari nodded slowly. "You didn't. Not really." There was silence then, but not heavy. Just long enough to let the truth breathe between them. "He is not from here," Jabari continued. "He moves like someone who has seen war, lost things. You see that, don't you?" Adebayo nodded. "I do, and still you choose to walk beside him." There was no hesitation. "Yes," Jabari's eyes lingered on his son, not judging, not doubting, just searching. "Adebayo, I've watched you grow into a man who listens to his own spirit, who honors people by knowing them, not by what others whisper." He leaned forward now, voice soft. "If this path brings trouble, Know that my love for you will not shift. Not now. Not ever. Adebayo blinked hard. His jaw tightened. But he said nothing. He didn't need to. Jabari placed a hand on his son's shoulder. Just promise me one thing, he said. Adebayo looked up. If this man is carrying danger, help him lay it down. Don't let love blind you to the fire. Adebayo's voice was firm. It's not blindness, Baba. I see him clearly, and I still choose him. Omari had felt it all morning, a twinge in his neck, a prickle down his back. Not fear exactly, just presence, like he wasn't alone, even when no one was in sight. He'd been helping the blacksmith repair the broken hinge on the school hut gate, trying to act normal. Steady hands, focused eyes, but his thoughts were miles away, back to the stream with Adebayo, back to everything he confessed under the moon, back to Malik. He hadn't told Adebayo everything. Not really. And now, something told him that time was running out. He wiped sweat from his brow, eyes flicking toward the edge of the village, the tall mango trees swaying in the breeze. No one stood there now, but the feeling hadn't left. You're being paranoid, he told himself. It's just nerves, guilt. But when he couldn't take it anymore, he decided to speak to Adebayo. Adebayo had just finished feeding the goats when he heard it, that low knock at the back of the hut. Not the front, where friends came calling. The back, where secrets liked to slip in. He moved cautiously, brushing dust from his wrapper, pulled open the wooden door, and there he was. Omari, but different. I need to talk to you, Omari said. Quiet. Urgent. Adebayo stepped aside wordlessly. They didn't speak as they walked down the narrow footpath toward the bush, where the trees were thicker and secrets echoed softer. When they reached the grove where they first kissed, Omari stopped. His voice didn't shake, but his eyes did. There's someone in the village, watching me. Adebayo stiffened. Who? Omari hesitated, then said, a man from Ayoru, one of the war chief's hunters. He paused, looked at Adebayo, not just to see if he believed him, but to see if he'd stay. They sent him to find me, to finish what they started. Adebayo stepped closer. What did they start? Omari looked down, then away. After Malik died, the war chief wanted a body for his vengeance, someone to blame. I was the easiest one to offer up, the one who loved him, the one who ran. I didn't kill Malik, I swear it, but I did leave him behind. Adebayo's eyes softened, hurt, but not withdrawn. Why didn't you tell me all of this before? Omari looked back at him, voice low. Because I knew once I did, you'd have to choose. And Adebayo did choose. He stepped forward, placed both hands on Omari's face, gently, firmly, and kissed him. No questions, no conditions. The grove dipped into a small hollow where bamboo stalks arched together, forming a natural shelter. Light filtered through like gold dust, dancing over their skin. For a moment, just a moment, the world outside didn't matter. Omari sank to the ground first, leaning back against a thick stalk. He looked tired, not just from being hunted, from carrying too many versions of himself for too long. Adebayo sat beside him. Neither of them spoke for a while. There was something beautiful in the silence, the kind that forms only when two hearts understand each other without needing to prove anything. Finally, Omari whispered, "You should be angry or scared." Adebayo shook his head slowly. "I was confused, a little hurt, yes, but more than anything, I've been worried for you, not about you." Omari turned his face toward him. "I'm not the man you thought I was." "No," Adebayo said, reaching for his hand. "You're more." The way he said it, Gentle, sure, it undid something deep inside Omari. He leaned forward until his forehead pressed against Adebayo's temple. "You're the first person who ever looked at me and didn't see danger." They sat like that, folded into each other, as birds chirped overhead and the wind hummed through the bamboo. And when Omari finally pulled back, there was something lighter in his gaze. Not peace, not yet, but something close to hope. What they didn't know was that warriors from Ayaru had already arrived in the village, and they wanted Omari. Chief Jabari was standing in his courtyard when it happened. 4 horses, 3 riders. One of them wore the armor of the Ayaru Royal Guard, silver embellished, chest proud, gaze cold. "You are Chief Jabari?" the man asked, without dismounting. "I am," Jabari replied. "Steady. I am Captain Osei. I've been sent by High War Chief Darren of Ayaru. We're looking for a fugitive. His name is Omari." The name sat like lead in the space between them. Jabari didn't flinch. "There are many Omaris. Not like this one," Osei replied. Ex-commander, trained in the war chief's inner circle, accused of theft, desertion, and betrayal. A heavy pause. "We have reason to believe he's hiding somewhere near your lands, maybe even in this village." Chief Jabari's gaze didn't waver. "If he were, and if he were under my roof, I would know." Captain Osei's jaw tightened. "Then I trust, Chief, that should you discover his whereabouts, you'll do the right thing." "The right thing," Jabari repeated softly, "can mean different things to different men." There was steel beneath his voice now. Captain Osei dismounted and stepped forward. "If you refuse to cooperate, we'll consider this village in violation of Ayaru law, and I have the war chief's seal to act accordingly." Jabari's eyes flashed, just a flicker, but he smiled. A cool, measured thing. "You may act however you wish," he said, "but while you are in my village, you will act with respect." The 2 men locked eyes. 2 alphas, 2 worlds, and a silent war. Captain Osei gave a tight nod and turned away. As he remounted, he left one final note in the air. "We'll be watching closely." The hooves echoed as they rode off, dust kicking into the sunlight. Chief Jabari didn't move until they were gone. Only then did he let out the breath he'd been holding and quietly call for his son. "The storm hasn't passed yet. Old debts are rising from the shadows and choices must be made." If you felt every breath of today's story, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your hopes, your favorite moments. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every little click helps our stories reach more hearts. And for those who want even more, early access, behind-the-scenes looks, and bonus content, our channel memberships and Buy Me a Coffee links are open for you below. Thank you for walking this journey with us. Episode 4, the final chapter, is coming next, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Stay with love. Stay brave. We'll see you soon.